Hi, whether it is your private hire or London taxi driver SERU assessment, you will have to answer some comprehensions. Meanings you will have be given some questions and you'll have to find the answer from the paragraph that is given. So these questions are normally not from your handbook, they're normally from outside the handbook and these are normally from the TfL notices. TPH, that normally known as TPH notices. So we're going to show you, this is part of our private hire SERU, and typically then question number 35 and 36 towards the end of your assessment, and they carries, as we have been told by our students, they carries 2 marks each of them. So we have got 24 sets of mock tests at the moment for private hire SERU, and there are 48 of them, 2 each, and these are all based on the feedback provided by yourselves, our students, and then many people report back saying that this question actually have come into their exam as it is on our mock tests. So let us take us through them, as many as of we can today. So first one, so there's 2 techniques you can use. Some people like to read the whole paragraph first and then answer the question. My technique is that I read the question first and then answer the question. This way I know exactly what I'm looking for in the paragraph, so I don't have to read the whole thing sometime, because sometimes the answer can just be in the beginning of the paragraph. So what the question has been asked here: who needs to register for the DBS update service? The question is, who needs to register for the DBS update service? Only the new applicants for the taxi and private hire license, all new applicants for the taxi and private hire licenses, and those seeking to renew an existing license, only the applicants for the renewal of taxi and private hire license. 3 options given, and all seems to be valid. One is saying that new applications, one is new renewals, one is both application and renewal. So let's see what the paragraph says. The DBS update service licensing requirement was introduced on 26th of February 2024. We will not grant a taxi or private hire license, including those seeking to renew an existing license, unless an applicant has registered for the DBS update service. This will apply to all applicants who have applied for a taxi or PHB license, including those who submitted an application prior to 26 February 2024, which is yet to be determined. Once licensed, you must maintain continuous subscription with the DBS update service. So we have found our answers here already. So it's clearly said, will not grant a taxi or private hire driver license, including those seeking to renew an existing license, unless applicant has registered for the DBS update. So this is the answer, the middle one. All new applicants for the taxi and private hire driver license and those seeking to renew an existing license is the right answer. Okay, let's move on to the next one. What is the question? How long the DVLA check code is valid for? How long the DVLA check code is valid for? It is valid for 7 days, it is valid for 21 days, it is valid for 14 days. Let's find the answer. You must hold a full DVLA Northern Ireland or other EE state driving license that is at least 3 years old. If you hold a DVLA license, you must submit a DVLA check code as part of your application for a taxi or private hire license. When providing the code, please ensure you transcribe the code accurately, including case sensitivity. Some drivers also mistakenly test the check code themselves, and this will invalidate the code. The check code will be valid for 21 days. Here we have found our answer at the last sentence of the paragraph. So how long the DVLA check code is valid for? And this is very common question, as our student tell us. So if it comes, you can just master it like that. We're not going to submit this. Let's move on to the next one. The following, okay. The question is, within how many hours licensed taxi and private hire drivers and operator must inform TfL about any arrest and release, charge, caution or conviction? So license is self-reporting. Notification of police involvement. Licensed taxi drivers, PHB drivers and private hire operators must tell us about any arrest and release, charge, caution and conviction within 48 hours. We don't need to read the rest of the sentence anymore because we have found our answer, which is 48 hours. So we can select 40 hours and check our answer, which is correct. What is the next question? If an offense is dealt with by a fixed penalty notice, FPN, you must notify TfL within 48 hours of doing what? So we have read the paragraph already up to here, and this is the answer is not there. So we can read the last part of the paragraph. This include all driving offenses resulting in penalty points on your DVLA driving license. When an offense is dealt with by a fixed penalty notice, you must notify us within 48 hours of accepting the FPN, fixed penalty notice, and paying any associated fine. So that is the answer. So rejecting the FPN, accepting the FPN, and before paying any fine, accepting the FPN and paying any associated fine. So be mindful here and be careful here because of one word, before paying and after paying. So we need to don't get confused because both seem very similar. So after paying the fine is the right answer. Okay, so to go to the next one. What the DVS update service will allow TfL to do: to check driving license record on an applicant, to carry out a status check on the criminal record certificate of the applicants, to check immigration status of an applicant. So let's find the answer. The DVS update service costs £13 per year and enables anyone who applies for an enhanced criminal record check to keep their criminal record certificate up to date and will allow, so we find the answer here. What will this allow TfL to do? It will allow TfL to carry out a status check on the certificate. Allow TfL to carry out a status check on the certificate. To carry out a status check on the criminal record certificate of the applicant. I'll just add in here, so many people are annoyed because of the DVS update service, but it saves you time and money. Because once you have the update service that there is no new criminal records, that means what? The next time you renew your license, you do not have to do a complete DVS check, complete criminal record check. You don't have to do it. So that's number 35. Let's go to the next one. Which one of the following is correct in regards to the DVLA check code? The code is case sensitive. The code is provided by TfL. You do not need to submit a DVLA check code. We have read this paragraph before. So it's somewhere here. When providing the code, please ensure you transcribe the code accurately, including case sensitivity. Inclusive, the case is case sensitive. It has got letters, it's got numbers, and there you got uppercase and you got lowercase. So it is case sensitive. So here is the answer. So let's go to the next set of the mock test. Where can you pick up or drop off passengers when there is an event at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? On a suspended taxi rank, at least 15 minutes walking distance from the stadium, next to the stadium. Let's find our answers. When Tottenham Hotspur Stadium hosts an event, some roads closest to the stadium are closed before, during and immediately after the event. The high road is normally closed between White Hart Lane and Hampden Lane. A number of side roads around the stadium are closed to general traffic access from 2 hours before, during and up to 1 hour post-match. Matchday road closure prevents spectators from being dropped off or picked up close to the stadium. If you need to use a taxi or private hire vehicle, we recommend you are dropped off or picked up at least 15 minutes walk, 0.5 miles away from the stadium. So we found our answer. It is the last sentence of the paragraph. So at least 15 minutes walking distance from the stadiums. It may not be the exact wording as the paragraph, so we just need to be mindful of what does it mean. What will happen if an applicant does not register for the DVS update service? TfL will not grant the taxi or private hire driver license. Nothing. They will receive the license. They can simply submit their criminal record certificate to TfL instead. We know this is the answer, but let's find it there. The DBS update service licensing requirement was introduced on 26th of February 2024. Will not grant taxi private hire license, including those seeking to renew an existing license unless an applicant has registered for the DBS update service. So this is what will happen. TfL will not grant their taxi or private hire driver license. So that's number 36. Let's move on to the next one. Now, despite of subscribing to the DBS update service, when an applicant needs to go through a new criminal record check, this is something I have been mentioned just earlier. When they change home, if the DBS tells TfL about a change to the applicant's criminal record, once subscribed to the DBS update service, you will never need to do complete any other checks. Okay, so I've told you, let's find it though. So the DBS update service, 13 years and £13. Anyone who applies for enhanced criminal record check keep their criminal record certificate up to date and will allow TfL to carry out the status check on the certificate. Once subscribed, you will only be required to provide a new criminal record check if the DBS tells us that something has changed. So the second one, if the DBS tells TfL about a change to the applicant's criminal record. So this is why we don't have to really read the whole sentence once you found the answer. Now back to Tottenham. Why can't you drop off or pick up a passenger near the stadium on an event day? So host an event, some roads closest to the stadium are closed, etc. immediately after the event. The high road is normally closed between Water Lane and Hampstead Lane. A number of side roads around the stadium are closed to general traffic from 2 hours before, during and up to 1 hour post-match. Matchday road closure prevent spectators from being dropped off or picked up close to the stadium. If you need, use the taxi 15 minutes walk. What are the options? Because the fare will be lowered near the stadium, because angry fans may break your car because of very close closure and restrictions. So that's the answer. Why can't you drop off passengers near the stadium? Because of the because many of the road will be closed. That's why matchday road closure prevent spectators from being dropped off. This is the answer, and this is where we find the answer. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. What is the operating hours of the ultra-low emission zone ULEZ? Monday to Friday 7 am to 6 p.m. This is congestion. Every day of the year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day except Christmas Day. Every day of the year with no exception. To help clear London's air, it's a very common one though. The ultra-low emission zone operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every day of the year except Christmas Day. We have found our answer. This is the answer. Every day of the year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day except Christmas Day. So that's the answer. We don't need to read further. So let's move on to the next one. How much is the daily ULEZ charge and who needs to pay it? £15 if your vehicle is not compliant with the ULEZ standards and is not exempt. £10 if your vehicle is not compliant with the ULEZ standards and is not exempt. £12.50 if your vehicle is not compliant with the ULEZ standards and is not exempt. So look, it's easier to find this kind of, just look for pound sign. It will have to have a pound sign here, and which is the end of the sentence here. And is it exempt? If your vehicle doesn't meet the ULEZ emission standards and is not exempt, you need to pay a £12.50 daily charge to drive within the zone. So here you go. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we can submit and see the result when I finish the mock tests. So next one. Which vehicle needs to pay the ULEZ charge unless exempt? Cars, motorcycle, vans, specialist vehicles up to and including 3.5 tons, and minibuses up to the including 5 tons. Buses and minibuses and coaches all over 5 tons. Lorries, vans and special heavy vehicles all over 3.5 tons. So let's see, what does this say? If your vehicle isn't met, if your vehicle doesn't meet the ULEZ emission standard and isn't exempt, you need to pay a £12 daily charge to drive within the zone. This is what we know. This applies to cars, motorcycles, vans and specialist vehicles. Cars, motorcycles, specialist vehicles up to and including 3.5 tons, and minibus up to and including 5 tons. This is the answer. We have the exact match, because there's not much to paraphrase here, because these are what is set. Okay, which vehicle do not need to pay the ULEZ charge? Which vehicle do not need to pay the ULEZ charge? Car, motorcycle, vans and special vehicle up to and including 3.5 tons. minibus up to including 5 tons, lorries, vans, specialty heavy vehicles all over 3.5 tons, and buses and minibus and coaches. Okay. Daily charge. This applies to cars, motorcycle, vans, and specialist vehicles and minibus, etc. Lorries, vans, and especially heavy vehicles all over 3.5 tons and buses, minibus and coaches of 5 tons do not need to pay the charge. So this one, lorries, vans, and etc. So this is the last sentence is the answer. So that was number 36. Let's go to the next one. In which year the ULEZ was introduced and when was it expanded? Which year it was introduced, when it was expanded? I've read the first line to help clear this and that. The ULEZ was introduced in April 2019 and the zone was expanded on 29 August 2020 to include all 32 London boroughs. Okay, so introduced in introduced in April 2019. So be mindful. So don't go for just 2019. You need to look for the month that expanded in August 2023. Next. Which one of the following correct in regards to the DVLA check code? You do not need to submit a DVLA check code. The code is provided by TfL. The code is case sensitive. I think this is also again a repetition for some reason. So we'll check into it. So it's case sensitive. The code is case sensitive. So we move on to the next one. When will new signage including important information will be installed in taxis and PHV? At the annual licensing inspection from summer 2024, at the monthly licensing inspection from summer 2024, during the half-yearly MOT inspection. We know the answer already because you don't have a monthly inspection, but let's find it. Compliant signage. All licensed vehicles must display new signage with the information about how to make a complaint to TfL and important safety information. The new signage will start being installed in taxis and PHVs at the annual licensing inspection from summer 2024. Okay. License will be installed at the annual inspection from summer 2024. So that was number 35. Number 36. From summer 2024, a licensed vehicle must display what? A new signage with important safety information and details about how to make a complaint to TfL. A new signage with important safety information and details about how to keep in touch with your operator. A new signage with important safety information and details about how to contact the police. Okay, first line said all the first statements after and is changed. So this is what we need to find. So all licensed vehicle must display the new signage with information about how to make a complaint to TfL and important safety information. So we have found the answer in the first page. Important safety information and details about how to make a complaint to TfL. Next, two more left. So what additional requirements was emphasized during the pandemic? Okay, these are additional requirements was emphasized during the pandemic. Avoiding vehicle inspections, installing GPS systems, frequent disinfection of high touch areas. This is TfL quite obsessed with this. If this changes and people don't see them, please let me know so we can take them out because they keep on asking about coronavirus, COVID related stuff still. Private hire vehicle inspections are crucial to maintaining passenger safety and ensuring vehicles are roadworthy. During the coronavirus pandemic, additional measures were implemented to protect both drivers and inspectors. Vehicles were required to meet cleanliness standards and drivers were advised to disinfect high-touch areas frequently. We found the answer. Frequent disinfection of high-touch areas. This was implemented. 35. Next one. How did partitions or screen contribute to safety? How did partition contribute to safety? We have read up to here. Vehicles were required to meet cleanliness standards, disinfection. Inspection included checks for partitions or screens were applicable to minimize the risk of virus transmission. These measures ensure that private hire services could operate safely. How did partition screen contribute to safety? By improving air conditioning, by reducing the risk of virus transmission, by enhancing driver visibility. So the partition was there so that it doesn't contaminate. So reduce the risk of virus transmission. Last two. So how were drivers required to arrange their inspections? This is again related to coronavirus. To limit crowding at inspection centers during the pandemic, authorities introduced a booking system for PHB inspections. Drivers had to schedule appointment online to ensure proper social distancing at the site. So by sending an email, by booking appointments online, by visiting the inspection center directly. So appointment online, this is what we have found here. Inspection is a booking system online. Here you go. This is the answer. This will be the last one. What was the purpose of staggered shifts for inspectors? Okay, so we have read up to here. Minimize, vertical appointment. Inspectors worked in staggered shifts, and waiting areas were redesigned to minimize contact. Okay. Drivers were instructed to wear face covering and avoid bringing. So answer is there anyway, unless necessary. These steps help reduce the risk of virus spread while maintaining essential service. The question was, what was the purpose of staggered shifts for inspectors? To increase the number of inspections per day, to reduce the workload of individual inspectors, to maintain social distancing at the site. Okay, so our face masks. So this was to help maintaining social distance on the site. Okay, minimizing contact. That's an answer. So here you go. So we have taken you through with there's some repetition. If you take them out, about probably 21 of them. So if you find in the exam, you know exactly how to answer. And this is, if you use the technique as we have shown you, you should be able to easily answer these questions. These are available on our website as part of our 24 sets of mock tests. You can easily find them, practice them. There is a lot of changes to your private hire SERU. Now the fill in the blanks, there is a reference to the section. Some of them do, as reported, do come from the outside the handbook as well. So you have a mix and match of both of them. And then the multiple choice now refer to the page numbers. So you can, I can show you. So you can find the question from the page. It's easier for you because the exam is now open book. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. As we have said, our website is always there for you to access this mock test if you want, and try a free mock test there as well. And our number is on the screen, and it was on the screen all the way through, and you can always get in touch if you need some training in class. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others.